single and waiting for Mr. Right? Are you in a relationship but still not quite sure if he's the one? Are you married and sometimes wondering if you've made the right decision? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then this podcast is for you. I am your host, Sharon Tillman, and welcome to the He's Worth the Wait podcast. This podcast is to promote healthy, whole relationships and to educate you on how to produce the very best version of yourself so you can meet the very best version of the one who has been chosen for you. Go with me as I share my story, as I share my journey, as I share my truth and my testimony while inspiring, uplifting, and encouraging you to know that He is worth the wait. Let's talk. Hello, hello, hello. Hey. Okay, so I'm coming on here like, oh my God. I know some of you are probably like, girl, where have you been? Right? Trust me, I know it has literally been about 3 weeks. And believe me when I say I have missed you guys just as much. I promise you I have. It has been, I don't even know how to explain it. Let's see. I had convocation at my church. I think I talked about that. Oh my God, I haven't been on since before convocation. So yeah, it's literally been 3 weeks. So I had convocation at my church. I think I talked about that on my last podcast. So that following week I had convocation and I had such a busy week with, rehearsals and things. I did not get a chance to put anything out, which I felt like, it would probably be tight. I was going to try to make it work, but I couldn't. Guys, the following week I had no voice. Legitly had, I would have been on the podcast like, hi guys, welcome. So, it sounds crazy, but I even struggled with my voice even during convocation, which is crazy, right? But I struggled with, my voice, even, singing every night. Like I was really straining at some point trying to like pull notes out. And if I knew I couldn't hit it, I just, lip sung at that moment. But it was crazy. So I had no voice, like literally I did not have a voice to even do it. And I was still recovering last week, believe it or not. Although my voice had started to come back, it was coming back and it was kind of going in and out. And I could feel my body. I could feel it was almost like my body was speaking to me. And it was like, girl, rest, right? And so the importance of really listening to your body, the importance of really, like I legitly felt like my voice was suffering because my body was just like, you're doing a lot. And for people who know me, then they know that I do a lot. Like there are many, many, many hats that I wear on a daily basis. So I have so many different things that I have to do, so many different things that's going on, so many different things that I am obligated to. And so I feel like my body was like, hey, we're going to take your voice because we need you We need you to rest. We need you to not be able to talk, to not be able to do a podcast, to not. We just need you to be able to like really just shut it down for a little bit. And so that's what I did. I took some time to really like just shut down and to like just really focus mentally, physically, just really I needed I am all about balance, right? So I'm all about balance on all different boards. And I don't even know if I've ever done a podcast really talking about balance before. And if I have not, I definitely need to do that because I believe in balance. I believe that in everything that we do, we have to have, it's so important, especially when you wear a lot of hats. It's so important, especially when you are a person of many titles, whether you're a mom and a wife, or your dad and a father, you're an employee, you're an employer, you're running your own business, you're working for someone else's business, you do ministry, or you serve in your community, you serve with different or affiliated with different ministries or different things as far as serving with churches and things of that nature. Like whatever your stuff is, right? Because we all have it. Whatever it is so imperative that we learn how to properly balance it out. We don't get to walk around here and not do the things that are required of us to do. There are things that are going to require time and effort, and we have to be able to give ourselves over to the things that we need to give it over to. You know what I'm saying? But we also have to make sure that there is enough of us to give. We have to make sure that we are replenishing ourselves and that we are putting back into ourselves. We have to make sure that we make ourselves a part of that priority list. I can say 1000% that if I did not believe in self care, if I did not believe in making Sharon a priority, there is no way, I mean, absolutely no way that I would be able to do all of the things that God gives me the strength to do. I wouldn't be able to handle the things that I have to handle. I wouldn't be able to listen, I am not perfect by any means. If he can do it for me, I promise you he can do it for you. But what I am saying is I serve with grace. I don't walk around here mad about the things that I have to do. I look at it as an opportunity to get to do the things that I get to do. And for me, I look at it like I get to be these kids' mom. I get to be this. I get to be that. I get to do this. I get to do that. And so I serve from that place. And so when I am serving, when I am doing, and sometimes it can be like a lot of stuff, like legitly a lot of stuff. If I ran down the things that I did, you guys would be like, girl, it ain't no way. How are you even on this podcast tonight? But because I believe that because I serve, because I do the things that I do from the posture that I do it, that God keeps giving me the grace. He keeps giving me the strength. He keeps giving me the ability to be able to do it. Now, am I saying that I'm supposed to like run myself ragged? Absolutely not. And I have learned even more as I get older, as I mature, to listen to my body even more. And when my body is saying, hey, listen, we need to shut down, guess what I'm doing? I'm shutting down. When my body is saying, hey, we're not going to go here tonight. We're not going to go here today. We're going to rest. Then guess what I'm doing? I'm resting. I can do that. I can legitly be working on something or have something that I've tasked that I know that I need to get done. But if I am not mentally, physically, emotionally, socially, spiritually capable of giving that my all, or giving that at least the allotted amount of time and energy that it needs, then I'm going to postpone it until I can give it, because I don't want to have to do anything, but I also don't want to overly exhaust myself trying to do it. So, okay, listen, my podcast is not about balance tonight, but I promise you, over the course of the next couple of weeks, I am going to talk about it, because as we are approaching the holidays, which is like a really busy season, this is like a really busy season, this is a really busy time. So as we are approaching the holidays, as we're approaching this time, I know that a lot of people like really exhaust themselves around this time, from work to parties to, holiday shopping, preparing, all of the things, right? All of the things. So I'll definitely get to a point where I can talk about it later on. But thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you guys so much for listening. I appreciate you guys so much. Listen, I really did. Listen, I absolutely love this podcast, right? So when the Lord gave me this podcast and when the Lord told me to do it, I didn't hesitate, because I absolutely love. So okay, I'm going to say this really quickly, and I promise you I'm going to jump into what I'm talking about. So there are times when God will give you a task, God will give you a responsibility, or God will give you something to do, and we feel so good about it. Like, oh my God, yes, Lord, thank you. Okay, yes, I can do this. I can do this, right? And then there are other times when the Lord is pulling on you and he's calling you to do something else, and you're like, Lord, so about that, right? Right? Like, literally, when the Lord was calling me to do this podcast, it felt so natural to me, because I'm a natural speaker. It felt natural to me. I love to talk. That's number one. But more importantly than that, God has done some amazing things in my life. He's done some amazing things. And I get the opportunity to share those things. I get the opportunity to talk about the places that I've been, talk about where God has, brought me from. I get to talk about so many different experiences and things that I've been through in my life that God has allotted me the opportunity to not just go through, but to overcome, to be healed from, to be freed from. And I know that what God has placed on the inside of me, for the people that is assigned to me, for the we that is assigned to me, these are things that they need in order to go, in order to get free, in order to get delivered. I understand that. I understand that for the people who are assigned to me can be waiting for me to get in position, to say what I need to say, to share that experience that was so traumatic, to literally talk about that hurt that any other person who didn't go through it with Christ would have thought I was about to lose my mind. You know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, even when we go through with Christ, sometimes things hit us so hard that we literally have to take a step back, and we know that God is with us, but sometimes it doesn't feel like it, right? Can I just be real with you guys tonight? But we have that thing that we can do, and we can do it confidently, we can do it boldly, we can do it with resilience, right? And then there are other things. When God says, this is what I need you to do, where there is hesitation, not hesitation in the call. Maybe hesitation in the call. Maybe hesitation in, like, Lord, you sure you meant Sharon? You didn't mean, maybe you meant Sharon Thomas, not Sharon Tillman. I don't know, it's Sharon Thomas. I just threw that name out. But it'll be like, okay, God, did you really mean me? God, are you sure that this is what you want me to do? Because this is not my comfort. Like, Lord. Now, I dwell really well over here. I'm super comfortable over here. If you want me to talk to people, if you want me to counsel people, you want me to do this podcast, God, I can do it all day long, because I know that is the gift that you have given. I am good here, right here. But when you pull me over there and you tell me that there is another level that is required, sometimes there's fear. Sometimes there's that, okay, God, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm good enough to do this, you know? My podcast ain't about that tonight either. But I just wanted to say that when the Lord told me to do this podcast, I was thrilled about it because not only do I get to like walk this journey out with you guys, right? So the journeys that I've already walked in my life, I get to share that with you. I get to be super transparent with you. I get to be super engaged with you in the sense of I've been here. I've done this. It doesn't make me perfect because guess what? I fail at things all the time. Thank God for his grace and his mercy that is sufficient, right? But we get to walk this thing out together. We literally get to do this together. And that's exciting for me. I absolutely love it. But then more importantly, God wanted this podcast to be named He's Worth the Wait. I didn't choose the name, guys, I know. But it was all because of the place that He has me in. And so you get to literally walk this journey with me as I, discover that He is worth the wait, right? So it's exciting for me. I absolutely love this podcast. And so me not being able to, sit here and do it, it was a lot for me as well. So I want you guys to know that. And I do have some episodes, but I mean, I like to feel led. I like to feel pulled. Like when I'm releasing something and I'm listening to it, I want to feel something. Like I want to feel the unction that lets me know that this is what needs to be released. And if I don't feel that, then I don't just want to put something out. I want to be very intentional. So the Lord gives me a word for the new year every single year. And intentional has been my word for, like the last 2 years. This year, or leading into next year, actually, because the Lord just really started dealing with me about being intentionally obedient. And God dropped it in my spirit and He spoke that to me. And so I have literally been walking in that place of intentional obedience. God, I want to intentionally be obedient to what it is that you're saying, what it is that you're doing, what it is that you're requiring, even if I don't feel like it, even if I don't want to, even if I'm afraid to, because sometimes it's not even that we don't want to answer the call of God. It's just like we scared to answer the call of God. Like, Lord, I feel I'm breathing hard just thinking about it, right? Like, let's just be clear. But I was on one of my calls on the other night, one of my leadership calls on the other night, and someone on the call said, once we go from the press to the privilege, and that thing, listen, oh my God, it blessed my whole life, because whenever we're in the press of the call on our lives, we're in the press of it. And then it's like, okay, we feel like we're pressed on it. Okay, like, God, I know that you're saying it, but I just, whatever. But once we take the press, or once God transforms the press to the privilege, then it's like, God, what a privilege it is to be called by you, right? What a privilege it is to be chosen by you. What a privilege it is that you see enough in me. You see something in me that I don't see in myself that makes you want to use me as your vessel. That's a privilege. And when we move from the press to the privilege, God is able to really open up some great doors and do some great, really great, amazing things in our lives. So all of that has been happening. All of that has been going on. But I did want to just start it out with just talking. I wanted you guys to know, why I've been MIA. I don't want you guys to think that I've abandoned it, because I have not. I'm very intentional about this podcast. You can ask my son, because he does like all things for me as far as like media goes. And I'm always on him about, son, make sure everything is together, because I may get up at 3 a.m. and feel led to do it. And I want to make sure. And so I've been on him for like the last couple of days. And he's like, Ma, I promise you, if you go in there and turn on that computer, everything is ready. Everything is ready to go. So I wanted to be sure. So I wanted you guys to know that I'm very intentional. I love this podcast. And listen, we're going to do it until the wheels fall off, until the Lord say, hey, sit that down. There is something else that I need you to do. Then we're going to be on here on this podcast. He's Worth the Wait by Sharon Tillman. How about that? Okay, awesome. So we're just gonna jump right in tonight. So I've had so many things that I've wanted to talk about. Oh my goodness, I've had so many things that I've wanted to talk about. But there has been a press on me lately, talking about presence, right? And so I'm not gonna be super deep, super spiritual. Like I'm not going in that route when I say presence tonight. I am coming from the place of like your attendance, like you're showing up to a place, right? You being, it's like I'm here at the house physically, but am I here mentally and emotionally? You know what I'm saying? Like your presence, is your presence felt? Is your presence known? Like what does your presence say when you enter the room? Does your presence speak? Uh-oh, excuse me. Let me drink a little water. Does your presence speak? When you enter the room, does your presence speak? Can people feel your presence? People know that you're in the room because of your presence. When you are not in a room, is your presence missed? Are we literally just showing up to show up? Or are we showing up for impact and to really make a difference, right? So I've had a few different scenarios, and I'm going to be very limited in how I talk about this because I don't want to. I don't want to say too much. Let me say it like that. But in this particular situation that even brought this press to me, right? So in this particular situation, we're talking about like, let me see. How do I want to say this? Let's just talk about absentees, right? So you're, I'm trying to, listen, I'm just trying to figure out how I want to bring it out, right? But we're going to talk about absentee. I'm going to go this route. When we're talking about, let's talk about parents. Can we talk about parents? Okay. So let's just talk about parents. We're going to go in that direction, and however it leads from there, then I'm going to go with it. But we're talking about parents, and we're talking about parents being attentive, parents being physically, emotionally, socially, like all of the things. We need parents to be present, right? And so it's one thing for you to be a part of your child's life in all of the ways that you can. It's another thing for you to be a part of your child's life and you're like an attendee. When your presence is not, when you're not here, your presence isn't missed. When you are here, your presence isn't felt. It's like, how is it possible? Like, where do we stand in this moment? You know what I'm saying? Like, I really want to just talk about this thing the way that I feel it, but I can't just go there in that way. But I will say the importance of, really showing up, really being there, really being not just, so many times parents get so caught up, and I say this all the time, right? A lot of times parents really get caught up in the go of life. We've got kids to raise, we've got bills to pay, we've got dinners to cook, Like it's so many things when it comes to parents. Whether you're a two-parent home or a single parent home, and if you're a single parent home, then you carry that load by yourself. If it's a two-parent home, then hopefully you guys are deciphering through how you guys are coming together collectively to carry the load. But it's so easy for parents to get caught up and to be like, okay, I gotta go to work, I gotta pay these bills, I'm cooking dinner, I gotta clean this bathroom, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Okay, now they need me down here at the church, I gotta go over here to the church. Okay, so somebody's having this, I gotta go here. And so it's so easy to get caught up as parents and feel like you are just being pulled in so many different directions to where the one thing that you need to steward, you neglect. And it's not always, let me be clear, an intentional neglect. Now, you do have those parents who intentionally just don't, right? A lot of times parents feel that, okay, if I am supplying all the needs, if I'm paying the bills, if you ain't wanting for nothing, then you don't have no reason to complain. You're fine. You are totally fine. But that is not accurate. Like, our children need to feel our presence. They need to know that we care about the things that they care about. They need to know that whether it's something big where they're being honored, or whether it's something small where somebody said something and it rubbed them the wrong way, or it made them feel a certain kind of way, and they don't really know how to talk about it. Or like if they're having problems with a friend at school, and they need to be able to know that you're a safe space and that you can come and you can let out on them. Like, hey, I'm going through this with John at school, and I mean, this is what John said, this is what I said. I don't know what to do. John is my best friend, but I just don't feel like we're friending. Like, whatever the situation is, it is so important that our presence is felt when it comes to our kids, that we are able to really be that for them. Not just that safe space for them, but they need to know that they've got a plate. They've got a place on our plate, right? It's not a I'm going to work and I'm paying the light bill. You can flip the lights, can't you? So you should be totally fine. No, it's not as long as the mortgage is paid and you got some heat, you're good. No, like, we've got to literally be present for our kids. We've got to be present for them emotionally, spiritually, physically, like in all of the ways that we can be present for them, we have to be present for them. It's so easy, especially in this culture. And this is one thing that I've learned. I've got teenagers. So I've got two teenagers, and then I've got a child. Y'all pray for me, right? So I've got two teenagers and I've got a child. And as I'm raising my 6-year-old, I know that the way I parent her is a little different than the way I parent my teenagers, right? I also recognize that the culture that I came up in differs from the culture that my teenagers are coming up in, which is also going to differ in the culture that my 6-year-old comes up in, right? We as parents have to be so aware. We've got to be on it, right? So we have to be like a step ahead when it comes to culture. We've got to make sure that we know exactly what they're doing, what's going on, so that we're able to steward our children and that they know that we are here, and they don't feel like, well, my mom doesn't pay me any attention anyway, so I can just go do whatever I want to do. Or my dad doesn't pay me attention anyway. My dad doesn't come around, or my dad is not around. My dad doesn't live in the house. And I just elaborate on the dads because, a lot of times if a parent is absent, most of the time it's the fathers. Now, don't get me wrong, because kudos to every man out there where it didn't work out with your ex-wife or, your child's mother, and you are still stepping up coming to you listen, you are stepping up to the plate every opportunity you get. Kudos to you. I absolutely love that because there are so many fathers, oh my God, who just don't do. Or let me take that back. There are so many daddies. Let me be very clear in that. Okay? There are so many daddies who just don't do. And because they're not with their child's mother, they act like they can't be with the child. And so, in the situation where they feel like they're making the mother suffer, the child is really suffering. And if you find yourself ever in that kind of situation, you almost feel mandated to make up the presence of that absentee, right? And that can be a challenge within itself. Let me be very transparent. I have struggled, right, in that area before because I always felt like, and I'm super transparent about my own growing up. And so I grew up and I didn't have my parents. I didn't grow up in a two-parent house with my parents and things of that nature. So it was so important for me, for my kids to always grow up like that. And so I feel that even from the beginning, I have always tried to make sure that my kids, if my ex-husband wasn't here, or if he had to work, if he had to go out of town, if he had a rehearsal because he did music, whatever the case may be, I always felt like it was my job, my mandate to be like, okay, even though he's not here, then, I'm going to make sure that these kids don't feel that he's not here or whatever the case may be. And that's a lot of pressure, right? That is a lot of pressure. And so I'm here to bless you, baby, like the Lord had to bless me because the Lord had to give me permission to release myself from that pressure because I was putting that kind of pressure on myself. I can't be a mother and a father. That's not who God, that wasn't the assignment for me. God didn't give me the assignment to be my children's mother and to be their father. He gave me the assignment to be their mother. Hey, listen, these are my children, but I am going to point you to be the mother over them while they're here on this good earth. I want you to mother them while they're here. Although they belong to me, I'm going to let you mother them. That's what the Lord did for me. So when he gave me the assignment to mother, he didn't give me the assignment to father. But I picked up that mandate that I had to do them both if one parent wasn't able to do it or just wasn't here or whatever the case may be. And it wasn't until the Lord dealt with me about it that I knew that I didn't have to do that. I've just got to be their mother, and I've got to make sure that I'm present and that I show and open up and allow them to see all of the love that I have to give, that the Lord gives me to give, and that I am here physically, mentally, emotionally, socially. I am here spiritually. I am here. So kudos to the daddies. To the fathers out there, right? But it is so important, right, that we know what's happening with our children, what's going on with them. One thing that I can say, and I can say this from me, when I grew up and I didn't have anyone that was checking for me, like checking in on me, nobody asking me about homework, like the simplest things that sometimes people just neglect to ask their children. What's happening in school? What's happening with your friends? Let's talk about your friends. I'm that mama, right? Because I didn't have that mother. So I'm that mother to my kids. And I think that it is so important that we know, listen, I am not naive to think that my children tell me everything, right? I wouldn't dare be that naive. I know that they don't tell me everything because sometimes my son will be like, hey, Jayla, come upstairs. I got to tell you something. Or he'll be like, Jayla, come look at this. And so when I start looking, he be like, Ma, I'd be like, what is this? Y'all not gonna tell me? Ma, young, ma? So I'm not crazy. I know that there are things that they would talk about amongst themselves. They're going to talk about things to their peers. There are things that they're not going to always bring to me. And I understand that. But as their mother, I am always making myself open. I am always making myself available. I am always allowing them to know that I am here. If you want to talk to me about it, I am here. If you don't feel like bringing it to me, who's these spiritual accountability partners in your life? Who are your spiritual mentors, which I absolutely believe in? Listen, I said this one time before, and I got some backlash because the people's was not in agreement. And if you don't feel like a spiritual mentor, someone who is, a spirit, someone, and I know a lot of people's like, I had one person to say, well, that's why I go to church, like my pastor. Okay. If your pastor is your spiritual mentor, then hey, listen, I am not out here to tell the people what to do. I am just telling you what I know works for me. I believe in spiritual mentors. I believe that it is so important that we have someone in our life that we are spiritually accountable to. Yes, we have our pastors. I have my bishop. Everybody know I absolutely love my bishop. But I also know that my bishop is, the bishop for a lot of different people. It's a lot of members of our church. It's other churches that my bishop is over. So as much as I love him and I know that I am accountable to him, there are things that I deal with, or there are things that I may not be able to bring to him, or I may not be able to get to him. So if I can't get to my bishop, or if I can't get to my pastor, then what am I supposed to do? Are you telling me that I'm not allowed to have anyone else? I just think that it's important that we have someone that we are spiritually accountable to. And yes, have your covering. My bishop is my covering. Absolutely. And I am spiritually accountable to him. Yes, absolutely. But I also have a spiritual mentor. I also have someone that I can call when I need to talk, when I need to pray, when I need an outlet. I have someone that I can bounce ideas off of. I have that person. And so I am the same when it comes to my children. Even when they were young, listen, I want you to know there are people in your life that you can talk to. If you don't feel like you can bring it to mommy, that is okay. If you can't take it to your daddy, that is okay. I want you to know that there are people who are spiritually accountable, who you can be spiritually accountable to, and you can take it to them because it's a safe space. And so I believe in that. I believe in that, especially with our children, because I understand that there are things that they're not going to bring to us as their parent, right? But I also know that it is so important for us to be open enough to not, we don't want to be that parent that's like, I mean, I used to hear this so much when I was younger. What goes on in this house stays in this house. If you got a problem, you better talk to me or talk to the Lord. Okay. Because, therapy wasn't as prone then as it is today. Like, people didn't believe in it. They didn't believe in therapy. If you need therapy, you ain't got Jesus. And if you got Jesus, you don't need therapy. Why pray when you can, why worry when you can pray? And why pray if you gonna worry, right? That's how they looked at it. Okay, but now we understand the importance of Jesus in therapy. We understand the importance of, yes, I cast my cares on God. 1 Peter 5:7 tells us that the Lord wants us to cast our cares on him because he cares for us. Absolutely. So we cast our cares on him. But then we also sometimes we need to channel this. We need to know how to get it out, how to get it off of us. We don't just take it to Jesus and leave it there and then just be done with it. We take it to Jesus and then he puts people in places so that we're able to continue the work. It's a continued work. We continue the work. So I'm big on Jesus in therapy because I'm the therapy, right? But I'm big on Jesus in therapy because I've been to therapy. I had to go to therapy and I'm not ashamed of it. I needed to channel things. I needed to get things out. I needed to know. I needed to be able to say that this hurt me. I needed to be able to say that, I don't know why this happened to me, but I need to walk this thing through. And I believe the same for my children. And my children, every single one of them have been to therapy. Absolutely. And if I see something or if they come to me and they need to talk to somebody, guess what? I'm going to just call and put them back on the schedule. Yeah, I will. Because I'm a believer and I understand that if I can't be that outlet for everything, then there is someone who can, and I am okay with that. I am open enough to know that if my children need someone to talk to, then I'm going to make sure they have it. I am strong enough, right? I am confident enough to know that there is no person on this earth that can replace their mother because I am very present in their life, which brings me back to presence. The importance of our presence, not just showing up, not just being an attendee, not just feeling like because I do this, you should know it. I used to hear people say all the time, and I'm that person, right? So I literally say, I love you to my children. Like every time we get off the phone, every time we getting off the phone, every time we're leaving and, we're not going to the same place, every night before bed. Like, listen, I am her, okay? The people in my life, I want them to know that I love them. And I say it all the time. Me and my best friend say it all the time. We'll be leaving and I'll be like, love y'all. Love you. Honey, I love you. That is me, right? And so I remember being in a situation and I said, do you love me? And they looked at me like, well, what kind of question is that? That is the dumbest question that you can ask because you already know I love you. But love is action. It's not, love isn't like people, place, or thing. It's not a noun. Love is action. That means your love action is demonstrated, right? So it's not my kids know that I love them because I am their mother. Or my kids know that I love them because I am their dad. My kids know that I love them because I'm their grandmother. Absolutely not. Your kids know that you love them when you are presently there. Your presence, your ability to show up for them and to be there for them lets them know. Your ability to care for them and to care about the things that they care about lets them know that you love them. Your ability to correct them, okay? I was talking to a good friend today. We were able to go to lunch, her and I. We tried to get together at least once a month because we're both so busy. So we were able to go to lunch today and it was amazing. And so we're just having like these conversations because when we get together, we just go, right? And so we were talking about love and correction. And I know I'm kind of like all over the place, but I promise you it all ties. So we were talking about love and correction and how people don't think they go together. So people will say, um, I love you and that's why I don't tell you the truth. Or I know he's going down the wrong path, but I love him and I'm praying for him, but you're not correcting him. So whenever we look at our Father, which is in heaven, and how our Father corrects us, he gives us commandments, he gives us rules, right? He gives us a path to follow. And when we don't do it, he corrects us. There are consequences that come with actions that don't align with Christ. So, how can we show a different love to our children than Christ shows to us, our Father, as his children? Because he loves us enough to correct us. See us going down the wrong path? He loves us enough to let us know that that's not okay. That path that you're going down is not going to lead you to where you think it's going to lead you. Like he loves us enough to correct us. So as parents, we've got to love enough to correct. And don't, listen, your children got enough friends, okay? And I just had to say that. You don't have to try to be your child's friend. So you don't want to correct them because you don't want them not to be your friend no more. And so you're over here like, well, I mean, if I say something, they don't like it, they ain't gonna talk to me, and then we gonna be silent, da 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 da. Listen, ask my kids how I get down. Because I'm that mama who loves and corrects. And y'all, I'm not perfect. But I know what I needed when I was growing up. These are things that I needed, things that I desired. And so I asked God, when he gave me these children, to watch for him because they really belong to him, right? God, I want to be able to give my kids what I didn't have, not just in a materialistic standpoint, not just tangible things. I want to be able to give them everything that I didn't have, everything that I desired when I was growing up, right? So I'm the mama who will, listen, I I definitely don't believe in sparing that rod and spoiling that child because I just like to follow the Bible, right? So I definitely believe in whippings. Now I don't hit a child for everything because I don't believe that a child needs to be hit for everything. Now that's just me. Now if you feel like your child need to be hit every time they do something wrong, then that's your parenting style. And you parent the way you parent. I'm a parent the way I parent over here. For my children, they don't need to be hit for everything because sometimes I can give them a look. But when that look fades, I might have to give them a word. But when the word ain't working, right? Then there are other measures. So when I have to whoop my kids, I used to tell my kids, I'm going to get you for the old and the new because I don't whoop you for everything, right? I am that mother that after I have to, like, I'm correcting and loving while I'm whooping. Because I'm telling them, like, this hurts me a lot more than it hurts you. Like, I don't want to have to do this, right? But I'm also letting you know why we are here. Do you understand why we're here? Like, we have conversations because I want them to know. I'm not just out here just whooping kids and they don't know what they're getting a whipping for. So then they're going to turn around and go do the same thing that they just did because they don't even know why you beat them. They just know you beat them. That's not me. Do you understand why we're here? Do you understand what could have been done differently to prevent us from even getting here? Like, we have full-on conversations, right? Ask my kids. I'm going to have to bring my kids on the podcast so they can talk about this because when we laugh about it, like, outside, it's hilarious. Like, my kids will be on TikTok, and if they see something that's remotely close to it, they'll send it to me, and we're in our group chat. And they'll be like, because Jayla, you remember when mama would be that time And then she gonna say, after it's all said and done, and then I come in the room and I'm like, "You good? You want to go downstairs? You want to go get some? Let's want to go eat dinner. What you want for dinner? What you want me to cook? You want to watch a movie? You want to cuddle? Like that's me because I don't not love you. I absolutely love you." But it is my job to correct you. And so my children, because they're petty, right? They'll be like, "I don't want to watch a movie with you right now. Like, I need a minute, right?" And I'm like, "Okay." And so I'll give them a minute and then I'll come back. And if they still not ready, I'll give them another minute and then I'll come back. But I can guarantee you that within, me having to leave maybe twice, by that third time they're ready. Because they know that I love them. And I do what I do because I love them. I want them to get it right. I want them to be better. And sometimes these are measures that we have to take. Every moment is a teachable moment, and every choice that we make renders a consequence. Every choice. That's from the smallest child to the largest child to the adult child to the grandparents. Okay. So I'm just tying it all in tonight, guys. But it was so important for me to talk about presence because we lose our children when we're not presently there for them. It's so much more than paying bills in the house. It is so much more than buying them everything that they want. Because a kid can have everything that they want and be the unhappiest child. You can think that they are happy. You're providing them such a great life. They get to play the sports that they want to play. They get to eat the foods that they want to, eat. They get to wear the clothes and the shoes that they want. Like nothing is off limits for them. They got, $1,500 iPhones and all of the Apple products, like everything that they want is accessible to them. They can be, with all of those things on the outside, their insides can be completely shattered. It could be completely corrupt. It can be completely lonely. So it is so important for us to make sure that we are showing up presently for our children. And this thing was so pressed on my heart. It was so pressed on my heart. So I'm going to tell this little story really quickly. So I was having a conversation with my 6-year-old, right? And listen, I got some smart kids, right? And I'm not boasting or bragging. The kids are just smart, right? But it is something special about my 6-year-old. Listen, definitely something special about that kid. So her and I are having a conversation, and my ex-husband and I are divorced. We are like officially divorced. You got your life, I got mine. You got your address, I got mine, right? And so he isn't as present as I would like him to be. Let me just say it like that. And so I always like to talk to my children because I love to I want to know how you feel about things. And it could be the therapist in me, right? Because what does your therapist do? She always asking questions that provoke another question or that provokes you to go a little bit deeper. That's what we do. So that's okay. So I'm always asking questions. I'm having a conversation with my daughter, and I think we're like on our way to cheer practice. And so we're talking about some things that, were transpiring. And my daughter looked at me and she said, "Mom, my Father in heaven will never let me down." And I said, you are absolutely right. And she just went on to say, Mom, because my Father in heaven, he loves me so much, and I love him so much, and he is always there for me. And like he is, Ma, he is sitting. And so I say literally a lot. So, of course, my 6-year-old says literally a lot and totally a lot. Okay. She doesn't talk like she's 6. Let me just be clear. And she goes to say, Mom, he is literally sitting right here beside me on the way to cheer practice because he goes with me everywhere I go. Like, Mom, he will never let me down. And I know that if I don't have my daddy, I always have my Father in heaven. And oh my God, the Lord is amazing, right? But I go on to say, and we just keep having the conversation. And I'm only bringing this out because the importance of presence, right? Every child doesn't get it. I looked at her and I said, we call my daughter Juju. Her name is Juliana. And I said, Juju, Mommy didn't have her daddy when she was growing up. And it took me a very long time. It took me a very long time to realize that my Father in heaven was there, that he loved me, and that I didn't have to worry about my dad who wasn't present because my Father in heaven was always present. I could always talk to him and I could always rely on him and all of the things. It took me a very long time to really get that, to really grasp that concept. And for my daughter to be 6 and to understand that is mind-blowing to me. Very mind-blowing. And it's, listen, the importance of presence, the importance of not just being there, not just showing up, not just coming and going or in and out, not just buying gifts, but to be presently there, emotionally there. For if I'm not here, my presence is missed. You know what I'm saying? That's the way that it needs to be. And it's a challenge for the parents because I understand as a mother, I understand the hats that we wear. And I understand that we may go to our job all day and we may pour, right? And we just giving out and giving out and giving out. And you come home and sometimes you're tired, you're burnt, and you don't have that same energy that you might have left home with 10 hours ago. But it is so important for us not to go to work and give it all away, for us not to go to the kitchen and give it all away in, preparing a meal, to not go to school and give it away. Whatever your thing is, whatever your hats are, even to not be in ministry and give it all away. Whatever your hats are, it is so important that you have something to give your kids. That when you show up, when you walk in that room, your presence is felt. They know that their parent is here, and you want to hear about their day. And you want to know all of the things that are happening with them, all of the things that are going on with them. You want to know. You want to be involved in their lives. You want to be attentive. You want to know what's going on. You don't want your daughter or your son to have a life that you know nothing about because you are not there. It is so much more than just showing up and buying gifts. You gotta be present, right? So listen, I'm wrapping it up. I did a video on this and I can't even remember. Listen, I'm horrible with this, right? But I can't remember if I posted the video because sometimes if I feel it, I just go ahead and do the video in that moment because if I don't and I try to wait to do it later, I don't do it. And so sometimes I may do a few videos and then I'll be like, okay, I'm going to go back and post them and I never do. Y'all pray for me, right? If anybody out there knows like somebody who needs like, a few hours a day or a few hours a week, somebody need a little part-time, little side job who, is really good with like social media and all of the things, please send them my way because I'm definitely in need of somebody to, help a girl out. But I did a video on this because it was just like, it was so heavy on me. And so I knew that this was going to be one of the first things that I talk about when I got back into the swing of, this podcast. But yes, so guys, just listen, we are out here and we're not perfect people. And even when I do this podcast, I am not perfect. I have my things, okay? I have my things. I don't walk an easy life. I walk a very intentional life, but not an easy life. And so I know that there are things that we have to do to make sure that we are showing up for our children in a way that matters, that we are presently being there for our kids. I remember I used to be bad about this. Like if I'm on the phone in my car, right? And I pull up at the house and I might be getting my bags out, get my work bag out. I might be getting mail out of the mailbox and I might have my headphone in or whatever because, I haven't done this in so long, but I don't even know if I had, earbuds at that point, but I would come in the house and I'm still on my conversation and my children will be like, hey, mom, whatever, whatever. And we're talking. I'm like, hey, yeah. But I still have the phone to my ear. Now, I'm not ignoring them. By all means, I'm not ignoring them. I'm talking to them, but I didn't hang up the phone. So the person that was on the other end of the phone, they're still on the phone and they're still there, but I'm talking to my children. And so I came to that place where I was just like, it may have been my 6-year-old who, she's 6 now, but she wasn't 6 at the time. But it could have been her. And she's like, Mommy, can you get off the phone and do something with me? And I don't even know what she wanted me to do. And I was just like, of course. And I'm like, hey, listen, I'm gonna have to call you back. And at that moment, I was like, I've been away from my children all day. There is no way that I can come in this house and I'm giving my attention to anybody outside of them. Even if I'm talking to them and the person that's on the line, they're just holding on. I mean, it could have been my mama, y'all. I don't even know. But whoever's on the line, they're just holding on because they know that I'm home and they know that anybody who's on the phone with me, they know I'm going to have a whole conversation with my children while we on the phone if, that's what's happening. But it was in that moment where I was like, and even if they are willing to hold on, that's not okay. I'm going to end this phone call before I get out of this car. Because when I hit that porch and I walk through that door, I am 110% plugged in here. I am 110% plugged in with my children. How was your day? What's been going on? What's happening? Tell mommy what happened at school today. What's going on? What do we got to do? Let's do homework. Let's read books or all of the things. So I know that even for me, it was a journey. It wasn't like, oh, I just automatically knew that. No, I didn't automatically know it. It was brought to my attention by my own child, you know? And so in that moment, the conviction of, no, yeah, you're gonna need to end your phone calls before you get in the house because that's not okay. That was important for me. And so the same being with my children now. And even when they are coming in the house, when they are approaching the house, or when they are approaching a space where we haven't been, or whatever the things may be, it's like, no, we're going to turn these off and we're going to get plugged in with each other. And so I just think that it's important to be really intentional about, being presently there, not just, physically there. You've got to be presently there. It's a balance. So here goes my word again, which is balance, right? I'm going to do a mastery class for balance. I'm gonna put something together. Thank you, Holy Ghost. I'm gonna put something together for balance, right? But even the balance of your presence, you're balancing being presently there, emotionally there, socially there, physically there, spiritually there. Like it all has to be congruent together. There any place where you're not there, there is a void, there is a hole, there is a gap. And so it's important for us to close up the circle. No, we're going to be completely here in all of the ways. We are going to be presently here, showing up for our children. Nope, I pay the mortgage because we all got to have somewhere to live. But my paying the mortgage does not take away from the fact that you had a hard day today, and I want to hear all about it. I want to be plugged in. I want to be presently showing up for my kids. So I just encourage you guys. Listen, think about it and just think about any way where we can just be there. Culture is really culturing, okay? This culture is different. And it is really trying to pull on our kids in a way that they deal with things and temptations that we didn't deal with. Our generation, we didn't deal with some of the temptations and things that they deal with. This culture is really culturing. We've got to be plugged in. Our kids have to know that we are checking for them. Get in their business, all in their business, all in their cell phones and text messages. Yeah, let's get plugged in. Listen, I love you guys for real. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I absolutely love you guys. And thank you so much for rocking with your girl. Thank you so much for just, thank you so much. Listen, because I've been gone for 3 weeks. And so I absolutely appreciate the fact that y'all still here. Listen, and that y'all still love me. As the new year approaches, I am trying. Okay, so this is another reason why I need a media person, because I really want to be, I want to grow my YouTube. And so I really want to be more plugged in with a visual, right? So I really want to get plugged in with a visual and not just audio. I sometimes my daughter will go on the YouTube channel and kind of just put the audio versions of the podcast there. But I really want to be able to get plugged in with the visuals as well. And so I am working on those things to be, ready for next year for, as the new year surfaces. And so I really want to grow the page, but more importantly, I want to be able to really engage with you guys. I want you to see me. I want to see y'all. And I want to have my moments where I can go live, and I want to have my, videos that I can post and all of the things. So yeah, if you know anybody, send them your girl way. I'm fair, but send them my way, because I definitely need some, media people, because that ain't my strength. And I live in the transparent moment of, and I am okay with that. right? It's not my strength. And I am okay with that. But if you know anybody, definitely send them my way. Again, thank you guys so much for joining the He's Worth the Wait podcast. I am your host, Sharon Tillman. Until next time, have an amazing night.